Start.
Hello, hello, hello,
Okay.
hello.
Wow, the
Where is it?
numbers are rising. This is
The
fun. I
numbers
love
are
seeing all the
rising.
participants come in. Hey,
Where's everybody
everybody.
calling in from? Say in the chat. I'll start.
Eric, nice. Okay, Eric, you're only typing to the hosts and panelists, so you might.
Okay, awkward, awkward. Let me switch
We're
that.
all
Hey,
Zoom noobs
Abigail,
here.
Denver,
Okay.
Sophia,
Chicago,
Florida. We got
Michigan,
Kayla in Michigan, another Michigan, Chicago.
NYC, sick. Oh my gosh. You
Nice.
know
Coming
what?
in Boston, Alabama, Oregon. I used to live there. Portland. I used to live there. San Diego.
New
My sister
Zealand.
lives there. California. That's where I live. New Zealand. I've never been there.
Me neither. Okay, I will say this is going to be embarrassing, but I do think I have a pretty good New Zealand accent. When I see,
Yes.
let's go on an adventure. Okay, I'm never doing that again.
Okay.
That was so cringy.
Wait,
No,
Dominic, you need to tell us if that was good or not. Dominic from New
that's
Zealand.
so bad. I'm actually get turning red. I don't really turn red, but I'm like embarrassed.
It was good, I think, but I've
I
never
just,
been.
I got nervous. I got nervous.
Dominic, are you still there? Dominic,
I need you to tell me that I did a really good job, okay? If you're still here from the New Zealand person, Dominic.
can you do an Eric impersonation?
Oh yeah, that one's an easy one. That one's, hey guys, welcome to this is anyways, this is so fun. We're so excited to have y'all here and fun little guest appearance, Carmen. So great.
Hey, Carmen.
We love that. You know what? We love a little Carmen appearance. It's so fun. I'm already having so much fun, you guys. Okay, so we just wanted to set this up. We're so excited to have y'all here. This is going to be a really fun conversation with the Detroit Pistons. A lot of you are here because you were probably hooked in. You saw that they're creating 2,000 posts a month, which is like a wild thing. So we're going to dig into all of that, and it's going to be so fun to chat with them today. And just some context for what this call is. As you may not know, Slate is hosting this. Slate's our company, and we are just like really excited to be hosting monthly webinars to get people educated about, what we do as a brand, but also how we are operating as social media managers. We all are facing social media platform changes every day, and this is just one way we're trying to educate and bring the social folks together in community. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen here. Let's share our Power Hour screen. Here we are. And we're going to kick it off. Before we actually kick it off, let's do some intros. Eric, who are you?
Yes, that's me on the left, looking pretty stressed out, trying to capture content when I used to work for the NFL, doing social media.
Hmm.
Yeah, came from the world of social media before starting Slate for over a decade as, yeah, a stressed out content creator trying to do as much as possible on my phone, which is part of why we built Slate. And that's me. I'm based in LA, everybody. Jay Ajayi,
And
yes, legend.
LA. And I'm Christina. I'm one of the social media managers here at Slate. I've been here for almost a year now. Happy year anniversary to me. So fun. And yeah, I make content, I manage community. Our Slack is thriving. I can share the link a little bit later if you want to join our Slack community. But honestly, I'm just doing all the fun things a social media manager does, and I'm excited to be here with everyone today. Okay, so let's kick it off, Eric. Let's talk a little bit about Slate.
Yeah, let's talk a little about Slate and why I quit my job at the NFL to help start Slate. And one of the biggest reasons is just social media is a content game, right? It demands more content than ever. I realized in my working life as a social media marketer, I actually was a video editor and a graphic designer as much as anything else, as much as a strategist and an analyst. But I didn't really have the tools to do the job, right? I needed to create a ton of content at a high velocity without sacrificing quality, something we're going to talk about today with the Pistons. Everything needed to be optimized and authentic for every platform. So, as everybody who works in social knows, you can't just take one piece of content and post it everywhere. There's nuance, there's hooks, there's visual identity that needs to stay consistent, there's branding. And looking native, but also differentiating your brand across platforms is super key. So it's a lot to juggle. So much to juggle that I found that I was spending more time creating content than any other part of my job. but the tools weren't built for it, right? So I was downloading, InShot and CapCut and Canva and using four apps to create a single piece of content. And none of those were approved by my team. And, usually I had to put down my own credit card to pay for them, or I had to learn Photoshop and Premiere, which I'm just not skilled enough for those types of software, and I don't think they're right for day-to-day social media. So we left to create Slate, which is the one platform you could use for all of your social content. That's why we're here today. Pistons have been a long-time customer, and we're excited to kind of unveil or peel back the curtain about how they create content using Slate and otherwise, and just run their social media strategy. So that
Yeah.
is a little bit of a background of our founding story and what our product does.
Love that. So good. So yeah, that is just a little spiel. And now we're excited to be inviting in our panelists today, Grace and Noah. Why don't you guys come on screen, introduce yourselves? Grace is the social media manager for the Detroit Pistons, currently in her fourth season with the team. She specializes in social strategy. Grace, welcome. And then Noah is the social media senior coordinator for the Detroit Pistons, currently in his fifth season. So you guys have been there for a long time, and you lead social publishing across platforms. So tell us a little bit more about yourselves and why are you excited to be here today?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been a long time user of Slate actually, so it's very exciting to be on this panel with you guys. I'm from Michigan, so working for the home state team, fourth year with the Pistons. We're in a great year. Big win yesterday if anybody online saw it. But yeah, excited to talk to you guys.
What up, though, everybody? My name is Noah Happy. Excited to be here with you all today. Obviously, fifth season with the Pistons, as Christina just said, actually had a background in PR with our G League team. So that's kind of how I started with the team, was getting hired in as an intern, really focused on player storytelling and kind of blossomed into social media from there. So a non-traditional background for myself getting into social media, but that's what makes Grace and I balance so well in this role.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. I feel like there's probably so many social folks joining us from a variety of backgrounds. It's always so interesting to learn like where you're coming from and how you got to where you are today. So thanks for joining us today. Before we actually get into the conversation, I do want to just do a few little housekeeping bits just for everyone here in this call. We will be doing a Q&A at the end and a giveaway. So if you're here to the very end, stay tuned because giveaway and Q&A will be at the end. And also, this will be recorded. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to watch this again and take notes again, anyone who registered will be getting this email and recap in their email tomorrow. So yeah, that's just a few bits of housekeeping. And also, there will be a poll at the end. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's dig in, folks. I just zoomed in on your face, Noah. Sorry about that. There we go. Let's talk about some of the challenges that every social media manager faces. Let's talk about the three ones that is like consistent across the board, whether you're in sports or not in sports. Stopping the scroll is one of them. We're being inundated with content and as consumers, especially like on all the platforms. So the question is like, how do we stop people in their tracks and capture audience's attention? That's a big one. Brand consistency, it becomes nearly impossible when multiple people are posting across different platforms at a high volume, especially like you folks that are posting 2,000 pieces of content a month. So brand consistency becomes a bottleneck and a huge time waster. And then finally, creating more with less. Social teams are expected to publish more content than ever, and we're less resourced. A lot of other teams have like so many other people, but it's funny. Eric and I talk to social media teams daily. And when we ask them like how many people are on your team, they're like, oh yeah, three or four, managing like an entire massive brand. So we are creating more with less as social media managers, and there's like more platforms. It feels like more platforms are popping up every day. So I want to start with question number one for you guys. Stopping the scroll. Familiarity in the feed is really big right now, especially when we're being inundated with content. So it's common social behavior that when you really like a brand or a creator, you stop. You really want to watch because you've been following them and you have that trust. So when you're thinking about the psychology behind creating content, I really want to know what are some ways that you're thinking of stopping the scroll when creating content and brainstorming with your team? Like, how do you go about that? How do you set up those levels of familiarity so that when somebody taps through their stories and they see a piston story, they stop right away? Tell us some of the psychology behind that.
Yeah. First, can you guys see me? I think I saw in a comment. Nobody can see me.
Oh, I think, can people see you? report in chat. Can we see Grace? Yes, we
Oh,
can
I'm
see
saying
you.
People
Perfect.
are
yes,
saying
yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay.
A couple no's, a couple yeses. I see
Oh,
perfect.
you. Oh, it's based on who's talking. Okay.
okay. So
Yeah, I
we'll
think
all stop talking and then you'll pop in. I'll
yeah.
pop into the feed.
Perfect. So, yes, I always say that everything with social media is psychology based. It's how you get people to stop the scroll. And as
Sorry,
you're
Grace. I think because Noah's mic is on and your mic isn't on, it's on Noah's face. I think this
oh,
is yes.
gotcha. This
So you might
is
have to switch.
so chat, we're actually in the same room. So so I think that's what's happening. So you'll mute and then
There you go. Yeah, okay, this is perfect.
okay, cool. Can you guys see me now?
Nice.
Woo! Yay.
Perfect.
Awesome. So yeah. So with us and stopping the scroll, so going through our content, actually, we really took the past few years to go through and figure out, okay, how do we get fans to stop and engage? So if you know anything about the Pistons, we have had a few really rough seasons up until this year. So how do you get fans to stop and actually view your content when you're losing games, right? It's hard. So what you need to do is really evaluate the back end. And so this is kind of where Noah and I have used Slate, where we found we just did an exercise by ourselves where you look through your Instagram, you swipe through, and in those first 3 seconds, are you stopping or and are you viewing? And so as we were looking through our content, videos, photos, things without any kind of graphic or words that were getting people to stop, we were just swiping through. So if we ourselves as social media managers we're looking at our content and we didn't want to engage, how can we expect fans that maybe are seeing our post for the first time that might not watch a Pistons game ever? How do we expect them to engage? And so the psychology behind getting the people to stop using red text. So if you see a lot of our stuff that we do on our actual grid, like here, you'll see a lot of big text like that Cade threes. You'll see text tweets, things that easily make people want to stop and see our page.
Yeah, it's a kind of. And I can't bring it all the way down.
Go ahead.
There you go. To kind of build off of that, hopefully everyone can hear me and see me okay now. To kind of build off of that, we did an internal social analysis in Grace and I's first season together on the social team in the 22-23 season. And the thing that we really looked at is what makes content perform, what makes numbers perform well. And for us, we looked at our own content, but also looked at other NBA teams and other sports teams. And the big commonality that we came back to, the main theme was that people engage with content where they can relate to the player or relate to the team emotionally. And for us, with a team that was losing a lot, we wanted to be able to do that as efficiently as possible. So again, what Grace was saying, in order to engage people and make them relate to our players emotionally, you can't just storytell the wins and losses. You want to storytell the hustle plays. You want to storytell the plays where guys are smiling and dapping each other up. And for us, we can do that by having hooks that are on the first 3 seconds of a video. Instead of just doing a photo dump of the first half of a game, we'll do a cover slide using Slate that says, we moved the ball to 4 different players to get this 3-pointer, or look at Ron Holland diving on the floor for a loose ball. We may have only won 15 games that season, but our guys care, right? And so Slate, I think, allows us the ability to storytell our guys deeper than just on the court, and that's our ultimate goal at the end of the day.
That's so good. Yeah, I think the human part of storytelling, especially in sports, has been really centralized over the last few years, and it's so cool to see the behind the scenes of what teams are doing, other than just their wins and losses, like you're saying, like the human side of it all. And like ultimately, I think the thing is, sports teams aren't just competing with like other sports teams. I think on social, it's like you're also competing with every other piece of content that's out there. Like you're ultimately competing against those funny, ridiculous videos, those random like kids eating ice cream video. Like you're competing against so much content. So I think that's a big thing. So how do you get your inspiration for like content creation outside of just sports as well when you're bringing that into your own content planning?
Yeah, I think one of the things for us is since we're in live events, right? For us, content can change at any moment in time. So it's really interesting looking at reality TV shows, how they also handle live events. Like a really good example is Dancing with the Stars.
Hmm.
They have the live voting. They have the dancers that are pretty much their influencers. So it's really interesting to see how they not only promote the show on their own channels, how they can then take it back to the actual Dancing with the Stars accounts. I mean, Love Island, if you guys watch Love Island, I also think that's interesting because they don't necessarily know what's going to happen day to day. With us, we have 82 games. So we could lose a game and then the next day we could win by 50 points. So you constantly have to be able to switch the storyline, switch what you're posting. I also think it's really interesting looking at brands that don't have players, right? That don't have events like us. So like a Duolingo, right? How they use a mascot, McDonald's, how they lean into that brand voice. And so that's really what we want to use and how we want to act on social when we don't have a game or might not have player content or different storylines to push.
Yeah, that's so good. I want to pull up an example here. I don't know if Eric has anything to add to that, but I want to pull up some examples here of some of the storytelling you're doing on the feeds, specifically through carousels, reels, and your Instagram stories. These are all such good examples. Before we get into brand consistency, I kind of want you to break down like one or two of these things and talk us through like your process behind it. I think these are really interesting to see.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about stopping the scroll. And so all of these, I would say, kind of stop the scroll. So again, if you guys know the Pistons and our story, about 2 years ago during our 2023-24 season, we went on a 28 game losing streak, which is I want to say one of the longest in NBA history, maybe even sports history. And so it was a really hard time for Pistons fans, right? Especially as social media managers at that time scrolling through comments. Uh, there was a lot of hate. It was a pretty much a brand crisis at that time that it's like you can't get yourself out of until the team wins. And so that next year, it was pretty much a Cinderella story where we ended up coming back out. We won 40, 42, 44 games, and we went to playoffs. And so this first post is just really that storytelling through the carousels. Detroit is interesting because we have such a deep like brand kind of voice where we connect with the people of Detroit that are hardworking, again, overlooked in here, second guessed, a lot of the blue collar workers. This is who we're talking to. This is our audience. And so when we're trying to storytell, again, it's to our fans. And this is something that anybody else can connect to. You could be in Indiana, you could be in LA and see this and be like, okay, I feel that. Now I want to support the team.
So good.
Um,
Oh, love it. I
yep.
know we have lots of questions coming through. So Eric, I'm just going to stop screen sharing here. Is there any questions that are coming through that would be really great for Grace and Noah to answer? I know there's a ton. We have the most questions we've ever had in the shortest amount of time. People are so curious. This is great.
Yeah, we were gonna save these for the end, but we could just start to like sprinkle a few questions in as we go. And yeah, remember to ask your questions in the Q&A section,
Yeah.
because it will be hard to keep track of them in the chat. But I did see a few in the chat and one in the Q&A section just about like approvals and legal constraints of like, how do you get the ability to move fast? I know we're going to talk about that a lot with the brand consistency section. But yeah, just give us like a quick preview of some of that of like how do you move fast when there's, internal approval checks needed and other interests at play that, obviously you're not free to just post anything on your mind about the team, especially when players and PR is involved. How have you set that system up to work so well at the Pistons? I'll start with you, Noah. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I can definitely tap in on this one. So, this was another thing that kind of came out of the 22-23 season, or another insight that came out of it rather. When we looked at our content after that season, the biggest thing that we noticed was if you looked and scrolled through Instagram and saw 5 posts in a row, you could go through and say, Noah posted this one, Grace posted that one, Grace posted that one, Noah posted that one. And for
Yeah,
us, that was a problem because we work for the Detroit Pistons, right? And for us, we want
yeah.
to be aligned under one brand strategy, one tone of voice. So in that off season, as we had our new director come in, we all worked together to develop a brand and tone of voice that maintained consistency no matter who's working. So no matter who is making a post, we want you to think that it's coming from the Detroit Pistons, not Noah Happy's making this one, Grace Andreski's making this one, right? So as we have gotten better as a team, and as we've spearheaded with our brand and tone of voice, we've been able to build and develop those relationships with our PR department where if we need approvals on things, they know what our brand and tone of voice is. We have an internal strategy that we have shared with other departments. So when we need approvals on content, they know what the ask is because there's a combined expectation across our company of how we look, sound, and feel as a brand, and we try to reflect that on social as best as possible. So when it comes to player approvals or
Mm.
personality content, things like that, we're able to move very quick in a game because most of the time when we're capturing through that lens of trying to promote and protect the players and obviously market them in the best image for them as possible. So,
So
So,
good. Great.
I'll also say too, we are posting so much. For example, last night
Yeah,
during our game against the Thunder, so we split apart platforms that we post on in game just because it's too much to all do Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, all of it. So just alone as I was posting on Instagram, I probably posted 8 times to just the grid, just in-game plays within a 2 hour span, right? So you're going constantly, and you don't have time to send, hey, here's the picture that I'm going to post. Here's the
yeah,
caption that I'm going to post to somebody. So what we have done a really great job of, especially as our team, we're a team of five. So we have a director, manager, me, Noah, and then we have two coordinators. And so we've done a
yeah,
great job of really working together as a internal team. And if you ever have a question about something like, hey, is this a little too risky? Because if you guys follow us, we do some crazy posts where if a fan is coming at us, we'll trash talk them back. So we've gotten a really good system of, hey, is this pushing the line too far? Is it okay? How would this player view it? Because again, our whole entire strategy, like Noah said, is protecting the players, protecting what
yeah,
they want to see, building their brand. You don't ever want to put them in a bad position or a bad light.
yeah, yeah. And you build that trust so you feel like you can move fast now because everyone's so aligned. Are you saying, but the team is so close that you're just like, if there's ever a question, you just turn to your right and say, hey, can I get a second pair of eyes on this? Even though that's not like necessarily the process for every single post.
100%.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay. That was a great little segue into brand consistency. People are asking about approvals and everything. Look at this, by the way. I screenshotted a ton of content from your feed. It looks so beautiful. First of all, aesthetically pleasing, along with being entertaining. Okay, so let's ask the question because ultimately brand consistency is important, like you all mentioned, and it comes down to a couple of things. One, making sure that everything you're posting online represents your brand well, like you were saying. Colors, logos, fonts, everything like that, and making leadership happy. I think leadership is a big discussion here that we could have a whole other session about pleasing leadership and everything. But ultimately, it also makes your lives easier as a social media team when you have access to everything at your fingertips. During a live game, and you aren't sitting around waiting for approvals or sending something to someone and being like, can I post this? Like, you have all the approvals needed. So I'd love to be able to like understand how you've built a system to actually do those things. I know you kind of tapped into that, but like walk us through the practicalities of like building out your brand hub, how you execute on all that content to make sure that you are doing what's going to make leadership happy and what's going to make your lives easier at the end of the day.
Yeah, so this is actually really interesting, especially for us and in social media in general, because I really feel like in the last 2 years, it made a switch to really doing more swipe graphics that you see on Instagram, which is where we have really leaned into Slate in that branded template look. So, as our first kind of year doing it last year, we were going through us as the social media team, kind of put together a look on our own. And so going into this past season, we came together and we're like, how can we actually elevate this and make it into the Pistons? How can we make it stand out from what everybody else is doing? And so we sat down with our graphic design team. Devonte, if you're on, shout out to him. But he really put together a whole entire look. We came up with things like, okay, we're going to use a lot of Twitter screenshots. What can we do to overlay it to make it look different? Again, we're going to do the swipe. Here's some things that we say all the time. Can you just put together a look of what you want it to feel like? So when we take it into Slate and we need to build things out and post something within 5 minutes, we're able to post it, know what fonts we use, what colors. We do a lot of like squiggly lines and circles. Where do we use that? When is it okay for that kind of thing? And so when we want you to go look at our grid, we again, kind of how Noah said, you don't want it to be like one person posted this, another person did that, and then we have a whole entire graphic designer that's maybe creating a better graphic, and now nothing looks the same. So really coming together this summer and having him create this kind of brand guideline for us really helped our grid.
That's awesome. I know a lot of people want to actually see how this works. But I know Eric wants to ask the question first before Noah actually showcases like the behind the scenes of how Slate works. So Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's super helpful. I guess, yeah. How did it work before? Like, was it, Photoshop templates from the team? Was it, we had to send everything back and forth to the designer? Was it kind of a little bit of the Wild West? I'm curious how, like, what that looked like, that process looked like before, and some of the struggles that were kind of solved.
Yeah, so long story short, Slate has made it very efficient for us over the last couple of years. And to kind of paint that picture where we started, we had Slate as a tool, but was very much in its early stages, as far as us using it rather. So we were using it, but I did not think taking full advantage of it. And we are very reliant on our creative teams, our production teams to make us graphics, to make us swipe posts to help us with those things. So for us, we had a lot of what we call shoulder taps at the Pistons, where we would go up to a creative graphic designer, tap on their shoulder and say, "Hey, I have a graphic that I really want to make for social in a couple hours. Can you help me with it?" And eventually it got to this point where it was like, this is too much. Like they have requests that they have to do. They have graphics on their calendar that they have to get finished. We can't just do these last second things. But for us in social media, I think it's this perfect marriage of being proactive and reactive, where obviously you have to be proactive as far as the content that you're planning, but equally you have to be reactive in things that happen. If there's a 60-point game from Cade Cunningham the night before, I want to make something right in the moment. And if there's not a graphic designer right there, I want to be able to cut a video. I want to be able to make a Slate swipe post. I want to be able to make a photo with some cool arrows and elements that Grace is speaking to. So for us, that process was consolidated to our social team. And then those bigger, more specific asks we could give to our creative team to where we could be a lot more intentional when we were going to them.
I am like gonna take that quote and put it on my LinkedIn because that is so good, being proactive and reactive. Like, and this goes for so many social media managers. Like, sports is one case because you do have that live kind of structure as well. But honestly, for all social media managers, it's not like we have 2 extra hours in the day to be like, let's talk about approvals. Like, nobody has that time. Nobody wants to take the time and bother a designer, especially when they're in the process of like designing something else. Like, we all understand the pains of the tap on the shoulder being like, I need this graphic really quickly and right now. So help me out. So this is a pain that obviously you can relate to as sports teams, but social media managers everywhere can feel that pain as you talk about it. So Noah, I would really love to see exactly how you navigate in Slate. So if you want to pull up your Slate brand hub so that everyone can kind of get a glimpse into what that looks like and how you create content. Let me know if you can't. I can also make you the host of this call. So let me know if you can't screen share.
Gotcha. I'm gonna do it right now.
Perfect.
Let's see what we can get going here.
I'm excited to see the beauty of this brand hub. This is going to look really good.
How are we looking here, everyone? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Looks
Okay.
good.
Oh,
So I'll minimize you guys real quick and we can just work in here. So we can start with our brand hub. So we can look here. I have a couple existing projects that we are working on. But this is what Grace was just speaking to. So for us, going into our brand hub, we have different colors, we have different graphics. So these colors for us are the specific brand colors of our jerseys that we use on all of our graphics. So we're not just pulling a traditional red, we're not just pulling a traditional white. These are the exact colors that align with our brand on every single graphic, jersey, and promotional item that you see. Similar with our typography, these are all of our different brand fonts that we use. So again, this is where Grace, leading our strategy, worked with our creative team to figure out what fonts are we going to use? How is this going to look? And obviously, I was in these conversations as well as to how is this going to look? How's it going to feel? What do we like? What do we not like? And this is where we have come to as far as what we can use and what we cannot. Um, Getting into graphics, we have a lot of categories here, but I want to go to what Grace was speaking to specifically. We want to get into some of these brand elements over here. So these are the different elements that Grace was just talking about that we have used specific to this year. Brand new. We developed these in this off season, and these just make our slate swipe posts a lot more compelling. So if there's an alley-oop where one player passes it to another for a dunk, we'll use this little arrow right here to kind of showcase the ball going into the net and point it from one player to the other. We can do a circle around the basketball. We can underline words. We can highlight different players. We can put a crown on their head if we want. We can do so many different things. And again, what this just allows us to do at the end of the day is be consistently distinguishable and consistently recognizable. So when you see these brand elements, you're like, oh, that's a Detroit Pistons post. Oh, here we go. The Pistons posted again, and the Pistons won again, right? So as you go through here, we also have overlays that we use on a lot of our story posts. So here's actually a great example of a couple that have just been developed by our community manager. So again, it's easy to drop like a video into a template like this as opposed to using text. So if it's a game day and a player's warming up or something like that, has a dunk during warmups, I can just drop a video in here and just put dog, or I can go through here and it's like pre-game warm-ups or getting reps in, and we can just put the video behind it and it's in the same location with our font, with our colors every single time and just maintains consistency. So that's really what most of this is rooted in. Again, we have backgrounds, we have different audios that we use. If you guys follow our posts, again, when the Pistons win a game, we always do a post-game video where we get the players' reactions, and we have a song called the Pistons Won Again, and we play that audio, which is in here, that we can put on top of our videos. So we're going to get into some templates here in a second, but last but not least, we have a lot of templates where you can just click into it and you can just drop a photo right behind it. And again, instead of just using a photo, this immediately makes your post much more compelling and makes you want to swipe into it, like, comment, share, engage overall. So that's just kind of a snapshot of our brand hub. I'll
so
get into a
organized.
couple examples. Is there anything that I should share, anything that I'm missing here?
I think you're covering it. Yeah, like I think everyone's obsessed with how organized and how great your brand hub looks. I think people are more like curious about the ins and outs and how it actually works. But if you want to chat, let me
Yeah.
know. Yeah, we
So
can
we'll
all.
do that. So let's get into it super quick. So say it's the middle of a game and there's a really good highlighter, a really good team player, something like that. And I'm like, all right, I want to story tell this on social. So let's just grab one of these templates here. And Detroit basketball to us as a brand is essentially team over me. Okay. It's not one player scoring all the points. It's really highlighting a team game. So I've got a couple photos here and I'm going to drop one in. Um, but just a good team photo to kind of showcase the guys high-fiving and showcase camaraderie. As you can tell here, where a template works and how it works in action, it's as simple as dropping one photo in, and you automatically have something that's a little more compelling. If you want to go in here to the left side, you get into some graphics, what I was just saying, and we have so many different categories here, but we'll get into the white elements that I was just showcasing. If you want to say get into an arrow, you can drop an arrow in, and you can rotate that thing too. Make it a little smaller, and we can show he's about to go high five that guy, right? And obviously that's with the light in the way, so you got to kind of tweak it, make it look good. We would tweak it and play with that a little bit, but long story short, you can drop circles in if I wanted to circle around his head. You can do a lot of different elements with this. I'll drop one more photo in just to kind of showcase what maybe a basketball photo looks like. So if, for example, defense is a pillar of Detroit basketball, and none other than Isaiah Stewart is the crown of defense. So we got to showcase that a little bit. So if we're going to, we can do something like this, where we drop a little brand element around the ball. And it just makes it a little more visually appealing than when you have a photo just by itself, right? To where you can just kind of hone it in around the ball a little bit. I'll even size it up, make it a little bit bigger, and you have this cool post that automatically becomes a much more compelling swipe, deeper than just a photo where we could drop it, right? So again, using these templates in real time, I mean, you guys are watching here. What did that take me? Probably 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm talking through it, right? So in the middle of a game, as we're getting photos flipped to us in real time, we don't have to get photos like this approved. So we can just come right through, drop these pieces of content in, knowing that we have the brand consistency, that we're not going to be posting anything that is detrimental to our team in any way. So that's kind of how a template works. How am I doing over here, Christina? Looking good?
Yeah, looking good. I think yeah, we'll hop into the last thing in just like a couple of minutes. So if you whatever else you like, maybe one more example if you have.
Okay, we'll be
Yeah,
super quick with this. So here's a text-based example. So if we don't use one of those templates and we just want to add some text in, we can use an example here where we're just using some of our font. This is one of my personal favorites, sugarless coffee, where we can make it a little bit bigger. And the thing with the font that's so cool, again, another reason why I love Slate. All of our brand colors, we can change our font to whatever color we want. If we want it to be red, if I want it to be teal for our teal jerseys, we can do that. We'll use white, and let's do like just a red outline for fun. You can do a red outline, and say you want to make the text a little more visible. Sometimes we'll do a little drop shadow here. We've put guidelines in to where we know when and when not to use these things. But just for the sake of example, we can do Ron, and then we'll say something like is a dog. Because in Detroit, we have the dog pound, and that's our guys who play defense, for anyone who doesn't know. Um, we will show this, and we can say Ron is a dog. Have it made in about a minute. And then if you want to go over to overlays, this is another area where Grace has done such a good job with our swipes. We have a whole section of just swipes. So if you look
mm,
at the bottom of the screen here, you got a white swipe there, you got it in the right corner, you got it in the middle with different arrows, you got it there, you got it here. There's just so many different ways you can do it. So we'll use this one for example. And right there, and again, about a minute and 30 seconds, you have a very compelling swipe cover that you can use for any post on the grid that automatically differentiates you from anybody else.
love it. This is so good. And also, a lot
Uh,
of people are asking, is this for video too? Yes, the Detroit Pistons are using this for video as well, right? This is like a big,
Using this for video as well. Oh, Grace is gonna hop
Yeah.
in and speak here. Give me one.
yeah. I don't know how much time we have for video, Eric, because I know a lot of people were asking about it. We can always do like a webinar in like next month to really talk about video and one-on-ones, of course, to show you how that video element works. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
One thing for us with video is we have completely gotten rid of CapCut. We used to be a CapCut team just because it was easy and quick and you could do it on your phone. So any of the player personality content that you see us doing, it used to be CapCut, and then they had all of the legal issues come out where if you put any of your own videos or photos in there, they could use it. And so we didn't want any of our stuff getting used by CapCut. So we have made the full switch to Slate. So every single thing that you guys see video wise, Pistons won again, player personality, all in Slate.
nice. Awesome. That's so great. Okay, so we're getting a ton of questions here. I'm going to let Eric kind of kick off some of our Q&A about your processes and everything because people are curious. And yeah, like I said in the chat, cap is cut. We're cutting cap cut in 2026.
Yeah, so a lot of questions are coming in, and I know the last thing we want to talk about is speed, right? And how you do so much content with a relatively small team compared to the content output. I did want to ask, there's some questions that have come up just like from the demo. One thing that I think kind of correlates as we get, away from, I guess, just how the product works, which we'll have more time to walk through anyone individually on stuff like that. But someone was asking in the chat like how you balance kind of cell phone shot UGC sort of content versus the more polished quality photos and designs, and like how much is that part of kind of your day-to-day strategy as well, where that fits in and how that fits into like your workflow of outputting so much content every single day.
Yeah, I think it's kind of going back to what Noah said, where it's proactive versus reactive.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of times, so in game, again, we have to move so fast that sometimes the best that you can do is we have this another tool where you can download the clips from the game. And sometimes there's not a photo or a video that our production team or photographer gets. So sometimes you just have to take that broadcast clip and then we just screenshot it sometimes. And so is it in every time you post thing that you screenshot something? No, it's rare occasions. When you have time to think about it, get the perfect shot. That's kind of been our strategy of okay, here's the nice video of Cade dunking on somebody versus maybe a phone clip or the
Mhm.
broadcast shot. So it's all again, you have to be able to move fast to be able to see, okay, what is performing better with our audience at a certain time, if that
Totally.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And it's a healthy mix of, you know, polish and real time and behind the scenes that I think makes the account so great. Um, Okay, 2,000 posts a month is insane to me. Is it truly just you two handling all of that content from start to finish, or is there a larger team behind the scenes? I think you alluded to this already with, obviously the partnership with the design team and also your director and the five-person team. But yeah, how do those duties get split? Is it like you're on Instagram, you're on X? Like, is it you two posting most of the content while everyone else is supporting? Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that volume and the team structure and how that kind of works.
I'll let Noah talk about this.
Yeah,
There we go. We're back. We're back. We've been pretty smooth with the transitions,
it
but
really smooth transition.
we're doing our best. We're doing our best. We're doing good. But anyway, so our staff. So, long story short, obviously staffing helps us a lot, and with the investment in social media has come an additional staff members, right? So, for the structure of our team, we have a social media director. He's the one who oversees everything on our social media department, down to the tools that we use, the platforms that we're on, and he handles everything high level. Grace and I are that next step down where Grace is overseeing all of our social strategy, and really overseeing like how do we look on social, content ideas, who are we collaborating with, what are we going to do for our main tentpole events, and then I'm really doing all of our publishing. So I'm spearheading all of our content publishing. And then below us, we have two coordinators. So we have one coordinator who's a community manager, and her job is specifically to comment and engage with other accounts. So
Mm.
whether it be other sports accounts, whether it be our players' accounts, whether it be social accounts in sports, TV shows, music, influencers, social trends, anything. Our goal with our community manager is to insert the Pistons into as many different conversations in sports and entertainment media as possible. So,
Mm.
with five of us on the team, she's able to do that. Then we also have a coordinator who spearheads all of our personality content specifically. And this came from that insight in the 22-23 season that we need to connect with our players emotionally because the fans will then connect with them. And from that, we were able to get this coordinator, and her job is specifically to research what are the latest TikTok trends, what are, the things that are hitting on social, and what are the things that have been engaging the most, and just creating engaging personality-based content where we're having them do fun games, fun challenges after practice to bring that personality out of them. So there's five of us in total, and then on a game day, 2 to 4 of us work on a game, and we all take separate platforms. I would say we take about 2 platforms a piece, and that's broken up between Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, Snapchat Spotlight, YouTube Shorts. Is that it, Grace?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's it. So, again, and our job is to, again, publish and storytell to the best of our ability on a game day. So,
Yeah.
again, from a staffing standpoint, we have a production team. We have one photographer and one videographer on the floor capturing for us. And then we have additional photographers and videographers at home games where they're able to capture our photos and produced videos for us to post. And then with our 2 to 4 people that work on the social team specifically, there is always one person who is classified as the social media runner. And the social runner is the one who is capturing phone content the
Mm.
entire game. So they're capturing the pregame dance, pregame warm-ups, in-game highlights, so that the posters, the main publishers in the game, are the ones who are getting the photos, the produced videos, the TV broadcast, and the social videos, and we're able to have a melting pot of all of that content dumping into Slate and create some real cool stuff.
Yeah, wow, that's a super helpful breakdown of the system that you guys have dialed in. I'd want to be the runner. I'd want to be out there running and gunning with the phone. Although my phone would always be full, and then you'd get that shot and be like, "Oh crap, I got to go delete a bunch of pictures from my weekend because we're actually out here doing real work."
That's the story of our life. That is, we're always deleting, archiving, trying to find ways to maintain storage so we can capture the next thing. So that's definitely
Yeah.
Storage.
relatable.
Storage is just such a
If I could just have 1 more terabyte, I'd be fine, right?
yeah, always 1 more terabyte.
Just one more.
There's been a few questions that have come in about audio and music and how that fits into your strategy. Obviously, you showed us a little bit about how you set up kind of your preferred audio in Slate. But yeah, curious just overall, like how do you navigate music? How do you approach music as a brand and audio in general on social?
Yeah, so for us, this is actually also a really interesting question. So, on the legal side of things, we can't use any kind of music that's in the arena, so any kind of popular sounds, which is a challenge for us, especially during games. Because if you ever go to a Pistons game, you're going to hear a lot of different popular music
Yeah.
playing while we're playing. So, we have to be able to take these clips and either decide to mute or put other audio on top of. And so sometimes we'll get a lot of comments like, why did you have to mute this? It's because the audio in the background we just legally can't use. And we don't want to get sued for millions of dollars with it. So same thing
Yeah.
with TikTok, can't use any kind of music or popular sounds with that. So we've really had to use Slate and different tools to bring in songs that are licensed for us. So like the Pistons one again, that's a song that we've had licensed, and so you see that everywhere. Also, I see in the chat somebody said the denoise filter. That actually in Slate has been so helpful too, where it picks up the main audio. So if there's a broadcaster talking, you can denoise the music in the background to just hear the broadcaster talking. So yeah, for us, it's really just kind of using our licensed songs.
Keep that
Yeah.
up. I'm sliding in. The denoiser is my best friend. I'm just sorry. I'm sliding in. Yeah. The denoiser is my best friend. Grace, it's a great point. It literally saves us in arena with that audio. All right, I'm back.
No,
I just took
seriously.
a screenshot.
Yeah, I
I
did too,
got
actually. It's on my computer.
nice.
No happy times too.
No,
Okay.
literally.
This was honestly such a good conversation. I feel like that we could tap into so many other questions. Like I said, I screenshotted all your questions, so maybe Eric will do like a fun little Substack about this as someone who
Yeah.
also worked in sports. Because I think people are just really curious as to like how you do it. And thank you both for really answering the questions that people had about like how your team operates. And I just want to share this one screen over here. Like ultimately, social teams everywhere are facing a lot of the challenges sports teams face. So as you can see here, we our mission and a goal is to create one place to create content. So you can see that we have promo videos for B2B, we have live event coverage. So if you're a CPG brand and you're constantly having events or showcases or conferences, Slate can help you with that. We do product demos, employee spotlights for the employee spotlight here is similar to what Noah was creating with graphics in terms of like on the court. Engaging video, that is something we didn't touch on, which I think is going to be an exciting topic that we'll think about hosting another one of these next month so that you can see how video works or obviously talk to us as a team. So these are just some examples. I want to thank the Detroit Pistons again. And because there was a lot of people here that were curious, I'm going to launch a poll right now for anyone here that is like, oh, I really want to learn more about Slate. I want to talk to the team one-on-one. So I'm launching the poll for a couple minutes. So if you're interested in learning more about Slate, hit the yes button. Our team will be in contact with you in the next couple of days or next week. And we will talk to you. We can give you like a more in-depth demo. I know Grace and Noah did an amazing job at actually showing us how it works. But like you said, Noah, there's so many untapped features. Sometimes you get into Slate and you're like, oh, there's so many things that I didn't know that I could do. So we'd love to chat with you, obviously. I'll leave this poll up for a little bit longer. But as I'm here, we're going to do the giveaway. I'm just going to put this in my name drawer that I did. And the winner of a gift card, which find me on LinkedIn afterwards, Christina Piro, is... Who is it? Who is it? Alexis Eater. Alexis Eater. So that's AlexisEader. Alexis, contact me on LinkedIn afterwards and we can coordinate your giveaway. Thank you so much to your team. Do you have any final words you want to say before we kind of end this call or any final thoughts?
No, just keep watching the Pistons, follow us. Feel free to add us on LinkedIn as well. And I wish I could play the Pistons One Again song to close us out, but I don't have it on hand.
No, I should pull it up on YouTube. What a great team. You guys are doing such a phenomenal job, and we're excited to follow your journey. We love how much content you're creating, and it's honestly inspirational. So thank you for sharing your process and kind of giving us a look behind the scenes. All right. Well, if you have any further questions, feel free to DM Eric or I or the Pistons, like they said, this team here. And we'll have another webinar next month, kind of honing in on something else about content creation, another content creation power hour. Eric, you have your hand up.
I think Noah needs to sing the Pistons Win Again song to take us
I
home.
knew it was coming. I knew it was
Let's
coming.
do it.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Here we go. So Grace is getting her phone out because we're social media professionals, right? We got to capture this. This is gonna be a TikTok, Grace. Collab with Slate.
We got to hear it.
Is this the instrumental?
No, this is radio edit.
Oh, it's the regular?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing with it. Ready? So after we win, this is what we do. You throw a W up.
Oh my gosh, this is so
You know, the
exciting.
Pistons won again. And there it is. I got one line for you all, but
You gotta
Let's
do the line.
go.
Whoever dropped off before the end of this call missed out so hard. They missed
that's
out.
right. That's right. The drop off, yeah, those like 30, 40 people missed out for sure.
That's like
Uh,
when you leave a game early and then they come back and win, and you're like, I can't believe I missed that. You're sitting in traffic listening on the radio. That's what just
Right,
happened.
right. That's exactly what just happened.
that was so good. I'm just gonna clip that one thing and put it all over the place.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Noah.
All
Thanks,
right, have a good
everybody.
day, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Appreciate everything.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.